I'm your host, Coach Monica. I'm joined today by Coach Darcy, and we are here to guide you through the ins and outs of a lifestyle that's transformed not just our lives, but the lives of countless women navigating the waves of perimenopause and menopause. Whether you're here to shed weight, understand your body better, or simply find a community that gets it, you're in the right place. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we tackle the hot issues of today.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. Good morning, Coach Darcy. How are you doing
Good
this morning?
morning. I'm doing great.
That's
Doing
wonderful. And
great.
so far in our testing of recording, I have not seen you freeze.
I know. I
So
prayed hard. I prayed hard today. I said, Lord, this is like a petty thing,
please,
but please let this run smoothly. Nobody's home. Nobody's taking up the internet.
yeah.
Let's just have a
So
good, decent internet connection.
I think he answered your
I
prayers. I
think he
think
did. I'm pretty sure.
so far he answered our prayers.
Yeah.
It is really important when we do what we do and and we depend on technology, and I didn't realize how much we depended on it
Yeah.
uh until we began our podcast. So,
Right.
hey, if you're listening to us, thank you for tuning in. And if you're listening to us on podcasts, we want to say welcome. It always really helps us if you give us a like, if you give us a review. That really helps spread our message. So, if you're listening to us on podcasts, would you take a couple seconds and do that for us? And if you're watching us on social media, because we are live this morning, if you take a couple of seconds and share with your family and friends, that is how we get our message out. So, thank you for doing that. We have kind of an interesting show today. The title of the show is "Why Does a Health Coach Care About Charlie Kirk?"
Mm.
And as we prepared the show today, we number one, we're sad. We're heartbroken over the tragedy that happened last Wednesday on September 10th when an assassin took the life of Charlie Kirk. Charlie was a hero of mine. He taught me how to be strong in this really ugly world. He taught me not to care what other people think of me. He taught me what activism should be like as someone who fights very hard for not only our health, but for the Constitution and for our freedoms that we have been given. And so I don't think I left my couch for 2 days last week as we watched it unfold. And very sadly, and I wish I had not done it, but I had accidentally seen the shooting and I accidentally saw
Mm.
it. I remember texting you, Darcy, and
Yeah.
saying, I just saw it and I don't think it would, barring a miracle from God, he's gone. And it's been a rough week. It's been a rough week. And yet on Sunday morning, um, I texted my pastor last week and I said, I don't like the hate that I feel in my heart right now. I don't like it. It was very, very uncomfortable to me. And I texted him and I'm like, what do I do? I don't like the hate. And he responded very quickly and said, you know, hate or feeling these feelings are not wrong is what you do with it. It's how long you let it sit there. And so I remember sitting in service on Sunday as our pastor so gracefully led his congregation through this grief. And I felt my anger turning because I started to see on my news feed, I started to see young people. And you know exactly what this means because you live this. I
Mm.
don't. I raise my kids and I don't have the gift of youth ministry. I just don't. I don't. Um, but I saw on my TikTok feed and very funny when before the election, I knew what was going to happen at the election because of what was happening on my TikTok feed, because I saw the young people and I saw people leaving a party and coming to another. I saw it happening. It was just like it was happening live. And that's what started to happen in my feed with Charlie. I saw, and I am still seeing tears, many, many tears from young people, old people, people who are in their 50s saying, number one, I'm leaving this party. And number 2, I don't know why it's happening, but I am compelled to go to church on Sunday. I and so as I'm seeing this, I'm like, this is not normal. This is not um this is not what regular activism that I've seen for the last 20 years. This is not normal. This is something else is pulling. There's the Holy Spirit that's
Mhm.
pulling these people. And so my anger is beginning to turn to excitement because I am completely excited about what is happening. Darcy, when you went through it, you had a different perspective than I did. I'm very vocal on Facebook. You'll see if I feel it, you see it on my sleeve, and my followers know it. So there's no question how I walked through this. You're a little quieter than me. What were your thoughts as you think about last week and what happened? And then we're gonna talk about the purpose of this show today and why a health coach cares about this topic.
Mhm. Um, the way I viewed it was because I do know how impactful, being a mentor to young students, not mentor, but even a friend. Like I was just told recently by a student, like, I don't want to necessarily see you as a mentor. I want to see you as a friend. I want to see you as somebody that I can go to and have a good conversation with and be inspired by maybe things that you say, which would be the mentorship. But I think that's what Charlie did for the young people out there. And that's why my heart breaks in a way, um, because he planted a lot of seeds out there, whether or not they were watered. And I think that's what
Mhm,
you may be seeing is the fact that God watered and was moving the Holy Spirit in what Charlie had planted because we
mhm,
can't water it. It's God's job to water that seed.
mhm,
It's our job to plant it and our job to, spread the seeds around and show love and
yeah,
show what God's mercy is. And I, I I don't think reality hit me until I did see that, unfortunately. I did
mhm,
see what you saw, and it's hard,
mhm,
to see that the people that he was speaking to, those young people are impacted by that.
mhm,
Now there is wrong, there is, the tempter is on both sides, the Republican and Democratic Party, and that to me was not necessarily, um a political thing. It was definitely an enemy type of, shooting, I guess,
mhm.
destruction of somebody that the enemy was hating because of the seeds that he was planting. Now, was it turned political? Yeah, it was.
Oh, I
It's everything.
100% believe it was political.
Oh,
100%.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, I do believe that the enemy will use
Mhm.
anything political and non-political, evangelical,
That
whatever it
was the thing
is.
about Charlie is he was all of those things. He was
Right.
and he's what we're talking about today. That's a fourth thing. I mean, there's so many sides, but everything that Charlie did was about God first, and
Mhm.
then it was about our country. And so it was all rounded
Well,
out, and that's why it was such a tragedy because of all of those layers.
I would say in my perspective is that yes, it initially was political based on the person's heart and what his decision, like, because he didn't like what Charlie stood for. Um, but it comes down to biblically sound. Like Charlie was speaking biblically sound things, and
Mhm,
that to a lot of people that don't know Jesus see it as, oh,
mhm.
we're just politically stating these things because this is
Yeah,
what the politics, this is the what the right wing people talk about or the left wing people talk about, and it he was very biblically sound, and that's
yeah,
why I was seeing him more as an evangelical person that was helping them see uh a different type of light
yeah.
that that they don't see, um
Yeah,
that's not on social media,
he
like
created
that's what.
open dialogue for people,
Yeah.
and one of my favorite things about Charlie was and I saw him do this, I saw him say, is anybody here does anybody disagree with me? Come to the front of the line."
Yeah.
And they killed that. They literally killed the open dialogue, and we're a different country now because of this.
Mhm.
And I think we're going to become an incredible country because of this.
Yeah.
And somebody said something, I think it was I went to I think it was our lieutenant governor who said, you know, if you would have asked Charlie, "If I can lead any more people to Christ, would you be willing to take a bullet for me?" And his wife said he would say yes. I
Mhm.
mean, there's just
Yeah.
what is gonna come out of this is so exciting. It was his ministry, the Turning Point USA, was literally prophetic because I believe this is the turning point, and I believe that our young people and our youth are gonna lead, and
Mhm.
let me tell you, I will follow them anywhere,
Yeah.
and I will be backing them up every step of the way, but let's talk a little bit about why health coaches would care about this. Number 1, my company is based from faith. I will never back down from or back away from the fact that we believe in a deep faith. And I don't believe it is possible for someone to lose weight without including the spiritual aspect of it and be healthy and whole. I believe that all 3, body, mind, and spirit, have to be healed in your weight loss journey in order for you to do it right, and that's why the shots don't work, because we're missing the mind and the spirit part. You got the body part, that weight's falling off, but you're missing the healing of the mind and the spirit, and and so it Charlie and I just learned this. I didn't know this as I followed him. I was just like, "Yes, you're teaching young people how to debate. You're teaching them how to stand up for their faith." He had a MAHA part about him,
Mm.
and I just found this out. And as I was kinda grieving and studying about who he was, and when I was researching RFK and when I heard RFK speaking at his vigil, on Sunday night, I didn't know this stuff. He was MAHA all the way. In fact, Charlie had lost 55 pounds. And he's been known to say, I couldn't do what I couldn't do what God wanted me to do with this extra weight. And so he went into this health portion of his life, lost 55 pounds and what I'm reading, he lost it by cutting the sugar, very little carbs. He did intermittent fasting. Um, and he got rid of all the ultra processed foods. And so it led me to study more about why he did that. And he was on the Jillian's show. He had RFK on his podcast. There's a lot of Maha stuff that I have just started to dig into. Um, but it made me think, and I want to talk to you about this. It made me think about our journey. And when I was so unhealthy, I always say the enemy is not afraid of unhealthy women. And a lot of people get offended when I say that, but I truly believe it. He is not afraid of a woman who can't physically do things for the cause of Christ. He's like, you know, being a healthy woman on this side of my activism, on this side of my life, compared to when I was 275 pounds trying to do what Christ had asked me to do on the front lines of activism, I I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything without being out of breath. I was stroke level blood pressure. I was the most unhealthy woman, and the things that I can do now don't even compare. Darcy, you were talking to me before the show today about leading the youth and how when I brought this topic to you, you were like, "I got a story for that." So
Mhm.
I wanna hear that story.
So 2020 is the official time where I was actually losing weight, and you had me start to work for you. And I didn't really have a passion for it. I didn't see it. I didn't have that same passion that you did. Um, and when I had lost the weight, I had lost, I think 20, no, 70 pounds at that time. Well, my final was like we went to a weekend of a discipleship walk kind of thing, a place where you dive deeper in your growth with God. And it was there where I was like, I'm hearing these stories of people, I'm not connecting it, and then all of a sudden, um, there was some talks about spiritual warfare and what your next is. What are you going to do about the things that you've taken away from this weekend. And I clearly heard God say, you're going to join the youth group when you get back. And I laughed. I was like,
I would say, no, God, I did not hear
I
you.
did.
Let me tell
I
you.
did. It's been placed on my heart a little bit, but I was overweight then. I was like, there's no way that the youth would accept me the way I am. Like there is no, and that was a prideful thing.
Yeah.
Now that I see it, it was an excuse. And so I was obedient and I went back and I said, hey, I think it's time that I see what this youth group thing is about and how you can use me. God told me that I need to do this and I don't want to, but I'm gonna. And then I got placed with the most amazing 7th grade girls that I was nervous. It was 2020. I couldn't even see their faces
Oh,
for a
wow.
whole year. I didn't know what they looked like. I just saw their eyes. And when they took their mask off, I'm like, who are you?
Wow.
And there is a lot of those, like, how can God use me with these
Mhm.
youths? So not only did he give me a new passion for the youth group and seeing how God is using these youths, I call it from
Mm,
my cousin Vinny, that I call them the youths.
the Utes.
And I as I'm like a person that I like to assess myself and like why I am the way I am. I like to understand why other people are the way they are. And I analyze. And maybe that's a bad thing, but I think
Yeah.
what God showed me is that you are at the bottom of your barrel. You had every excuse in the book.
Mhm.
And you finally got the one biggest insecurity out of the way. And now there's no more excuses.
Yeah.
And now it's your time. And as I lived this, not only working a new job of health, but also working a new job of working with students, it was a whole new world.
Mhm.
And what God showed me was that I was utilizing food as an idol
Mhm.
and that I was putting food before Him when I was ever depressed, when I was ever worried, when I was ever just trying to make a big decision. All of that was became an idol. And did I worship food? Not necessarily. I didn't like bow
Right.
down to the ice cream and praise you. And no, it wasn't that kind. It was more of I went to food before I went to God.
Mhm.
And that's what these youth have taught me. And then another moment, a pivotal, important moment, a turn of when I was in a moment of like, God, I still don't understand why I am here and you have placed me here.
Mhm.
Not only did he mention in the Bible that he did not call the equipped, but he equipped
Mhm.
the called. So there's that, and he equipped me, but he also showed me this viewpoint of revival. And I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. The world's going to do this. But he actually showed me who he's going to use to
Mhm.
start that revival. And that was through the students.
Students.
And the amount of boldness that was what I was there for. I was there
Mhm.
to help them equip themselves with boldness, to not be afraid to teach, not to teach, but to just go out and tell about Jesus to their
Mhm.
other fellow peers. And it's at that moment you have to understand between that age of 5 and when they're starting to understand about Jesus and the age 14, more kids become they know about the love of Jesus
Mhm.
between that time. And so it's really important to get to them in those moments and be there for them and then walk them through their
Yeah.
growth in Christ. So
And then
I
at the
want
same time, while you're doing that, God's doing the same thing with you
yeah,
as you get your health in alignment because you didn't have the confidence and
yeah.
that's not a part of the I've got a whole list of things here that are practical ways that being obese or unhealthy can make it hard to physically serve God. And what I left off was the confidence.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
there is no way I had to stand behind a podium probably weekly during that season of my life when I was politically active, and the confidence that I did not have up there that I do now. Now I still struggle with body dysmorphia. I still struggle with that. That's a trick of the enemy. But the confidence factor of just living and breathing is night and day.
Mhm.
And in order for you to instill confidence in those youth, you had to be going through the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And Now the thing that confuses me about you is you had that confidence when you're up on the stage singing because you're also a singer. And so I can't put my head and wrap my head around how you did that, um, during that season of your life, but you did. You did it like a boss.
Well, in that aspect, yes, I was up there and I would put myself in a bubble because it was between God and myself. I'm very kingdom minded, but when it
Mhm.
comes to the self-confidence here on this earth, then I second guess myself, and that's
Yeah.
of the enemy. But like
So you stepped into a different
I
world when
stepped
you were up
into a
there.
different world, and I tend to do that sometimes still when people are just like they just don't get it. They don't get that passion that I have. But it's what we talk about in the company. It's all
Mhm.
about the body, mind, and spirit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we can focus on a healthy mind, and a lot of
Mhm.
you might be biblically sound. You might have a good prayer life, but if you
Mhm.
are still putting your food before God and not having a healthy body, then you're unbalanced. And I had to realize,
Mhm.
and that's where I found that passion, and you helped me instill in that passion with people and health and why we coach
Mhm.
is to help people understand it's a balance, the body, mind, and spirit.
Mhm.
And if without one, you're gonna be sick.
Here's the cool thing though, Darce. As I think about that and my journey and watching your journey, God is so gracious and so kind that He allows us to heal one at a time.
Mhm.
I didn't heal body, mind, and spirit at the same time. There were days that I had to focus solely on putting down that donut and resisting the sugar. And it was a battle of a lifetime just to stay abstinent. And those times, I was not thinking about my mind. I was just focused on putting that donut down. And then I remember when it happened. I was with my friend. I went to a Rent Collective concert, and I was with my friend on the second row of the Rent Collective. They're an Irish worship band. Amazing. They're coming to Fort Wayne, by the way. I'd really like to go with you to that concert. Um, I remember they were singing this song about joy, one of their really popular songs. And I don't remember anything else that happened that day, but I felt um like a tea kettle, like I was a teacup, and just I just felt joy just pouring into my soul. And that was the first day of my spiritual healing. And then I went through 6 months prior to that with no feelings. I couldn't cry, I couldn't laugh, I couldn't, and then that night I was healed.
Mm.
And so then that began my spiritual healing. And then I went to counseling and I fixed my mind. I fixed that. So God is so gracious in the fact that He doesn't make us force. We would be overwhelmed if we had to do it
Yeah.
all. And maybe some people are so blessed that they are able to heal body, mind, and spirit at the same time. I was not one of those.
I don't know if you can fully heal when you're trying to work on all of them at once. I think it's
Mhm.
overwhelming and then people easily give up. It's just like
Mhm.
when we see a new person that we're coaching and they're like
Mhm.
all in and
Give
they're
me all
gonna just
everything.
binge everything in their
Oh,
pantry. And then 3 months next after that, they're
yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
reality is hitting in where this is supposed to be lifelong. And
Yeah.
yes, I've lost a lot of weight, but look at all the other people. They're doing
Yeah.
so you're
Oh,
looking around.
when somebody enrolls in our program, the first email we get from is, "Tell me what to eat. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me." And
Yeah.
we're like, "Slow down.
Yeah.
We need you to breathe.
Yeah.
All we're gonna do for the first 2 weeks is elimination. That's all we're doing. We're not adding anything." We do that for a reason.
Mhm.
It matches the book Atomic Habits,
Mhm.
you know? If you can
Yeah.
spiritualize Atomic Habits, it's just He's just so gracious in that way
Yeah.
that body, mind, and spirit heal at on their own time
Yeah. And
when you're ready.
Jesus has this steadfastness. He is the steadfastness.
Mhm.
In James it talks about that and about just the joy and the steadfastness that he and has had for
Mhm.
years and years and years, and that's just patience. Like he
Yeah.
has so much patience for us. But initially when we are diving into the word,
Yeah.
we're slowly learning that and we're understanding God's character more and more. But
Mhm.
it
And his
take it's
timing.
and it's just like the hard work that we have to put into eating healthy. When we have
Yeah.
destroyed our bodies, we have to um slowly reverse
Yeah.
those bad habits
Yeah.
We have to be consistent, and then we have to do it.
Yeah.
And if
You
we
have to decide
don't,
to do it first. You have to be
yeah.
so tired of being sick and tired of living an obese life, living with type 2 diabetes, living with PCOS. You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired enough to say, I got to make the phone call to coach.
Mhm.
I have got to do that. I've got to start somewhere. And then that's when we say, okay, we're going to give you the tools, but we're not doing it all at once. And we're going to work through the body, mind, and spirit. But let's talk a little bit.
Yeah.
I sent you this list this morning in our notes about practical ways that being obese or living with type 2 diabetes, living with these diseases of human civilization, how can that make it physically hard to serve God or to walk out his calling in your life? And here's a story. Our first person who ever lost 100 pounds with us now has a pro-life ministry that she emailed me and she said, Monica, I couldn't have done this before.
Mhm.
I could not, I was not mentally, spiritually, or physically ready to do this. So I want to ask the audience today, what if your physical stature, your obesity, your type 2 diabetes, your the thing that just weighs you down, literally, what if that was keeping you from the calling that God is just waiting? He's like, I'm just waiting for them to get physically fit enough so that they can do what I've called them to do. What if your physical stature is keeping you from the ultimate calling that God has given you? Let's talk about some of those physical things that could keep you from that. There's the spiritual, there's the emotional, the mental, the confidence, there's that, and then there's the physical things that we're going to talk about. You want to kick us off with those?
Yeah, so the low energy and fatigue.
Oh dear. Yes.
If you are constantly tired, it makes it hard to do things.
Yeah.
You're just so focused on, man, my eyes feel so heavy, or man, I just have zero energy to eat, or any desire to go out and um, you know, worship,
Mhm.
or be there at church by
Mhm.
serving and giving myself. When you're extra tired, there's just no motivation.
No.
There's no desire. There's that desire. I think there's that desire still
Yes.
within your heart, but your body physically
Physically.
cannot go out and do the things.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, there's definitely some ministries that require just using
Mhm.
your computer, but still that's
But
not.
even then, the fatigue and the low energy,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
constantly pounding on your brain and and removing those hormones that give you the energy,
Yes.
um, makes it so that you're not all mentally fit and all ready to go.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the low energy, I remember that was one of the first things that I got back, about 20 pounds down, was and I got mad about it. I got mad about it because I love Sunday afternoon naps. I can't take them anymore because I'm not tired anymore. I'm
Yeah.
not fatigued anymore. And
Right.
so, yeah, low energy. This one for me was really bad. At 275 pounds, my knees and my feet hurt. The chronic pain and joint strain of being obese and struggling with your weight. Standing to serve. I could not stand for more than 20 minutes. Walking. When I was in the political battle, I was going door to door. Couldn't do that. I was too I remember after my healing, I started crying. I was standing in line at Goodwill and I started crying. And I'm like, what? It was because my back didn't hurt. I was standing in line to pay for my stuff and my back didn't hurt for the first time ever. So pain and chronic pain and joint pain, those things. There is, and I didn't bring the data with me, but there is a meme that's out there about how many pounds of weight when you lose, how many pounds do you lose when you lose a pound of fat on your knees? How much you actually lose? It's like crazy 200 pounds. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Crazy amount of weight that
Yeah.
that pounds at us.
Yeah. And then the next one would be, on top of that, if you've got chronic pain and joint strain, you're limited mobility.
Right.
So the difficulty moving and bending and lifting. Listen, as I am a part of the youth group, I run circles around them.
That's
I am
awesome.
no joke. I am like, hey guys, want to play nine square? And if you know what nine square is, you know what nine square is.
Uh-huh, I do.
But it's active. Like
Yeah.
and then there's many times where we have these blow up obstacles that they bring to these events. I'm not just watching them, I'm a part of it.
Mhm.
So you are going to be more of like a standby person
Yeah,
watching this stuff
from the
happen
sidelines.
from the sidelines. And what fun is that?
I have a question for you, Darce. Shortness of breath.
Mhm.
Um, I'm sorry, I skipped one. So I
Did
hope
you?
you were done with that other one, but the
Sure.
shortness of breath, I'm just imagining you singing. Has your
Mhm.
singing changed since
So,
you
it's funny that you say that, because I've had people, even on the worship team, say, "You for some reason, I've just noticed this change in you and the way that you sing and the way that
Mhm.
you, just hold yourself." And so, yeah, there is.
You had to relearn it, didn't you? How to use the
No, it just
breath?
got stronger. It
Yeah.
got stronger. Like there, I don't know if that's what it was or just like everything was healing. Like
Uh-huh.
I don't really have answers, but I have
Yeah.
been told like, yeah, you've changed. Like you're more confident. You are,
Yeah.
your vocals are stronger. They're, all those things. So,
Yeah. I've imagined, there was, oh, I forget, she was an American Idol and she lost a lot of weight. And she was talking about how she had to relearn to sing because the weight that she carried would push down on her diaphragm. And
mhm,
so she had to make her diaphragm stronger because she couldn't, because that weight was no longer there.
yeah,
So yeah, it's that's a really interesting thing. But shortness of
yeah,
breath and small tasks, like, just leading a class. I remember teaching class on political activism and how I was out of breath because my lungs were crushed.
yeah.
So just that, yeah.
Well, that you don't have that muscle, the
Mhm.
core. Like you don't have that's for vocal anything.
Yeah,
You've got to have that diaphragm, a strong diaphragm, and that's with
yeah,
working out and having not the fat sitting on your diaphragm. Like that's
right.
really important.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, totally.
so
Um,
another
yeah.
another one would be, frequent illness because when you are overweight,
Mhm,
if you are not having the great minerals that your body needs
mhm,
because your nutrition choices are not feeding your body the way it needs to, you're going to find that you are frequently ill.
mhm.
So if you are frequently ill and you're saying, "Oh yeah, I'll volunteer to do that," and then you're constantly sick,
Yeah,
that is for one not really great for consistency and what
yeah.
is accountability.
Accountability, right.
But it's that constant inflammation and you're just gonna be sick
Yeah,
often. And so that is a hindrance to you volunteering or doing something even
yeah,
at work. Volunteering at your political events or,
right.
whatever it is. Like if you
Yeah,
have that, you can't be around a whole lot of people because you're afraid to get sick. But well,
right.
because for some reason, when there's a lot of people around,
Get sick.
you
Since
have
I
a low
lost the
tolerance.
weight, I had one bout of mild COVID. Um, in the middle of it all, it was a very like it only lasted about 2 days. Mild case of COVID, lost my taste and smell, came back within 2 days. That's the only time since I have lost the weight that I've been sick. I
Mm,
no longer get cold sores like I used to.
right.
I'm just healthier,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that is real.
Now, it's a good thing to still get your sickies. Like, I think it's okay that your
Mhm.
body, because when you don't, usually that's a sign that
Builds your
cancer is
immunity.
yeah, cancer could be like, that's a good telltale sign if you're never sick.
Mhm.
But with focusing on your health,
Yeah.
you're giving your body the nutrients that it needs. It's able to actually do that fighting for
Mhm.
you versus having to work on that insulin and putting it,
Yeah.
storage centers and focusing on that. So,
Right, right. Well, and typically when you are obese, many times you're on medications,
mhm.
and medications have side effects, and managing multiple prescriptions can literally sap the strength out of you and limit your travel or mission. Um, Medication, as we know, as we're fighting big pharma right now, you need one medication to treat another symptom that needs 3 medications to treat that. So, when you're sick all the time, if you're struggling with type 2 diabetes, you're on in and all of these diseases, you're on all these medications that prevent you from being the person that God called you to
Yeah.
do.
Well, that and I would think financially. Now, I don't do
Mhm.
medications, but I would think financially, if you're,
Yeah,
constantly pouring into the medications that you need monthly,
yeah,
maybe you're already on, a fine line of being able to serve or to give
right.
or go on missions trips. Like
Yeah.
those are some big things. Like that medication's taking up a little pocket
Yeah.
that is not that they're just band-aids that
Yeah.
most of them. Now I'm going to say not all medications just band-aids, but
Yeah.
yes they are.
They
Um
are.
I'm just going to say that. Um
We're truth speakers here.
but that's a lot of finances that you could be
Mhm.
holding on to instead of
Yeah.
dumping into.
Yeah,
So,
and I can't tell if you are looking at the notes, but that was literally the next point
oh,
of
I
financial.
didn't.
I saw that look in your face that you didn't know you were talking about that, and
Well,
that's
we didn't
lit
talk. I
it's
would have skipped one if that's the
yeah,
case.
no, it's perfect. Because that is the truth.
Yeah.
Higher healthcare costs can limit what you're able to do, you
Yeah.
know? It's the truth, and, uh, uh, I was spending hundreds of dollars on crappy food. Those those, the chips and all of those things that we spent all of that money on, it does cause a financial strain, but I think the most important one that we can talk about today and the most
Mhm.
heartbreaking one is the shortened lifespan.
Mhm.
Because if you treat your body like crap and you put poison in your body, you are shortening your lifespan. And that is something that it's heartbreaking. More disease, more more heart attacks, more all of these things. I ask myself, when we struggle with people with a lot of the women that we coach and they're like, "Oh, but I have to do this for so and so. And I've got to put my kids first, and I got to do all this everybody else first, first, first." And they think they're doing good things by this, and I think that's the most selfish thing that you can do, because when you are off your health plan and when you eat like crap, you're killing yourself. When you are obese, you're you're shortening your lifespan by a minimum of 10 years. I saw that statistic. How is that? How is living an obese lifestyle or a living with type 2 diabetes, with living with these things that can be reversed, how is that loving when you're not fixing that? When you have the power in your hands to fix it?
I've heard some mindsets of like, well, when if it's, you only live once,
Mhm.
God put this stuff on this earth for this reason and blah blah blah. But my my thought towards that is, you are again shortening your lifespan. You're choosing to make your lifespan the time here on earth that God can use you
Mhm.
a lot shorter because of that mindset. And if you have that mindset of like, I am going to, be a servant of God as long as he wills it for me to be on this earth.
Mhm.
Just like Charlie, he was on to the end, like the very, very end. But his goal, and I watched one of those videos that you sent. The one guy described, he said, Charlie was getting in shape for the
Mhm.
battle.
Yes.
And
Yes.
because of that, that is my passion of
Yeah.
why would this not put fire under your butt?
It is
God's mission and
selfish not to.
calling.
Yeah.
And when you are, even being prideful, when you're being having low confidence, all of those things come a block
Mhm.
between what how God can use you, and your lack of confidence is like he sees what you're capable of because he created you.
Mhm.
And if you're like disagreeing with God about that and not
Mhm.
saying, "Oh no," like I've given several talks, not like preaching, but kind of preaching in front of the youth.
Mhm.
I would have never seen myself being able to do that with the
Yeah.
confidence the lack of confidence that I carried around. And the
Yeah.
enemy used that to his fullest. And he'll
Yeah.
still, like you say, that body dysmorphia comes in
Mhm.
because the enemy sees you off guard.
Yeah.
And so um I have this goal. Like we went to a mud run for our church and I saw this 80-year-old, probably I'm guessing her age. She was probably 80. And
Mhm.
she was doing the mud run with her daughters. And she was not going around these obstacles. She was getting
Doing
muddy
'em.
with
Yeah.
them. And that is my ultimate goal. I'm like,
Yeah.
as long as I'm breathing, God,
Yeah.
utilize me and help me be equipped with a healthy body,
Yeah.
sound mind, so that I can pass on this gospel to other
Yeah.
people.
And
Whether that
that's what Charlie was about.
Yeah.
He was very political. Very, very political, and he was. It was a political assassination. However, However, his first mission, and my favorite thing was the question that he was asked right before he was taken to heaven. He gave the gospel.
Mhm.
So through all of those things, through the health, through the MAHA movement, through the election, through the freedom, through the second, all of those things, it was all wrapped up in one of his last podcasts he did. He said, he was asked, "What do you want to be remembered for?" And he said, "I want to be remembered for the courage of my faith."
Yeah.
And that lit a nation on fire.
Mhm.
We are going to watch the youth lead this. We're going to watch, and I'm joining them. So I'm going to be
Mhm.
part of that youth. I'm going to be, call myself as a 50-year-old mom. I'm going to be one of them. But we all are Charlies now.
Mhm.
And if you are struggling with your weight, there's no excuse. You've got to just do it. You have got to say, I've had enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's what I did when I sat across the table from my son who wanted to get on a roller coaster with me. I said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it was hard work. And this is the misconception of the world right now, that losing weight is easy. It's not easy. The things that
Nope.
Darcy and I take our clients through is hell. And we've been told that. And we've been cussed at before by our clients. But at the end of the day, you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
You've got to get sick and tired of feeling the body fat on your body and say, I'm done. I am going to put the things in my body that are going to heal me. It's a sad, sad week. We're going to lay him to rest on Sunday. But I think as we have time to mourn this week, we're going to bury him on Sunday, but then a movement is going to start. And Darcy and I are fired up. We are fired up because not only are we going to watch a youth movement take over, a revival hit our churches,
Mhm.
we're going to watch a nation get healthy again because we're talking about it now. We're living it. If you are stuck, if you're frustrated, if you're mad, we love to see mad people come to us, because when you're mad, when you come to us, we can work with you. We take that madness, we use it as fuel, and we watch those pounds fall off of your body. So come to us mad, please. If you're sick of it, invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Blows me away. People will spend $1,500 on a shot that doesn't work, and they freak out over $1,300 for a transformation of their body.
Yeah.
Just blows me away.
Well,
But
because
you got to be
work
mad
for it.
You got to work for it.
Yeah.
We make you work hard.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you are like 3 of our clients right now who have crossed the 100-pound mark.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
3 of them. They're all racing. They're all fighting for it.
Mhm.
I love it. We
Yep.
love what we do. We love our people. We're sorry, Charlie, that you are no longer with us. But I think the minute you took your first breath in heaven is the minute our world was transformed. And I'm
Mhm.
excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. If you're frustrated, reach out to us.
Yep.
You can find us at kmhealthcoaching.org, where you can sign up with. We prefer that you sign up for a health assessment, because then we can talk you through what you really need. We have a signature program that 90% of our clients sail through and they have victory. We have a more affordable program. Don't care for that program too much. If you work it, you can do it. About 50% success rate. I probably shouldn't say that. I probably shouldn't, but I love what we do. I love the success. I love the 90%. I love that.
Yeah.
So, any last minute words, Coach?
I'll end it with what I tell my students and what I've told my students since 2021, when God gave me the message for them to say, be big and be bold. And that's what my message is for you, is to be big in a not physical way and be bold.
Mhm.
Be big with what your confidence and
Yeah.
with what God can do with you and your mission that he has for you, because we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and God has created us all uniquely talented in our own individual way, and he can use that. He can use
Yeah.
you in any way, but you need to be healthy and confident that he can and he will
Yeah.
utilize you in the way you are. So
Yeah.
be
And I'll
big
add
and be bold.
one last thing to your be big and be bold, is do hard things.
Mm-hmm.
Be brave enough to do hard things. When you do that, you're going to find your life is going to transform and you're going to change the world. We love you guys. We're here every Tuesday morning. Our podcast is released every Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. And so if you need anything, please find us at kmhealthcoaching.org. We love you.
Bye.
Hey, it's Coach Monica here. Guess what? If you're fed up with feeling stuck in your battle with weight or food, I've got something just for you. Check out our free Facebook groups. Over at Food Addiction and Recovery, I'm over there waiting for you. We're going to walk this journey together. It's about getting real, sharing our stories, and lifting each other up. We're in this together every step of the way. And if you're curious about changing your life with keto, the Weight Loss Project is where you want to be. Coach Darcy is amazing. And together, we're not just talking about losing weight. We're talking about finding a happier, healthier you. So, what do you say? Are you ready to join us? The links are in the show notes below, and I'm telling you, this is more than an invite. It is the start of something great.